That's horrible. That is not good coffee. Day 2, getting used to my own coffee, not great. I was thinking last night that I should probably go over all of the things that I've been doing since last lockdown leading up to now, and then also explain how the hell New Zealand got back into this position. So just a quick rundown. Basically, in New Zealand, we have 4 levels of COVID alert. Number 4 being lockdown, which is the one that everyone's used to hearing about. Number 1 is basically just living life as normal, freedom, with common sense. So New Zealanders are asked to have their Bluetooth on, and we scan QR codes when we walk into places using the COVID Tracer app. Super easy guidelines to follow. It's not mandatory, but it is kind of, just like a nice thing to do in terms of taking care of your community. It's responsible. So when we got out of lockdown last time, we moved from level 4, which is lockdown, to level 3, which is restricted movement. Okay, so there are certain rules and regulations that you have to follow. And so I needed to find a job that would operate under multiple levels. One that has open space where I can move around because I've been cooped inside for a month, and one where I didn't have to work in crowds. So I took up horse grooming. I know, horse grooming of all things. I was not expecting that, but horse grooming and horse care. I went and worked at the Wellington Riding School, and they taught me how to groom horses, how to get them ready for equestrian competitions, how to organize diet plans, how to exercise them. It was amazing, and it wasn't something that I ever thought that I'd enjoy, but I really did. And I remember my grandfather always talked about how much he loved working with horses, and he was always really good with animals as well. And I've generally been quite good with animals too, so I don't know why I was so surprised, but I enjoyed it. And despite the fact that I spent, a lot of mornings scooping up crap, because don't get me wrong, I'd say 20% of the job is scooping up crap. Maybe 40% of the job actually is just like scooping shit into buckets and then tipping those buckets onto another pile of even bigger shit. But apart from that, I got to form a relationship with these horses and get to know their different personalities and learn about myself and overcome my own fears, because horses are quite scary when you're not used to them. When you're standing next to them, they're massive beasts that could really ultimately kill you if they wanted to. I did have one incident where I was exercising one of the horses who was an ex-racehorse. And so obviously I wasn't running fast enough for said horse, and that horse decided that it was just going to flick me off and then kick me right in my leg, which luckily I had my phone in my pocket, so it didn't do too much damage to me, but it did destroy my phone, just utterly, it obliterated my phone. I was very lucky too, because my phone was in my pocket, and my pocket was, I don't know, a few inches away from my crotch, so had the horse been a little bit to the left, I might have a higher voice right now.
Jamba juice. Big booty, big booty.
After that, I did a few commercials.
Oh, I need your help, Dave. How long have you been down there? Look, I was trying to work out what energy plan I wanted.
Actually, to be honest, I did quite a few commercials.
I'm overdrawn. Can I borrow some money?
Oh, no. If you enjoy that, I'm going to go do anything else.
All right.
Hey COVID, check this out.
I also worked on the Netflix live adaptation of Cowboy Bebop, which is a pretty big anime. If you're an anime fan, you'll know it. And that whole experience was super weird and mysterious, and I learned a lot on it, but man, that was strange. That was my first time working with an American crew on an American set. I filmed all of that as well, and so I'll make a separate video to do with that, because there is so much content to do with that. Things with like having my hair cut off, having it dyed, having it straightened, different costume changes, learning how to do stunts, because obviously there is some action in the film, and so I had to learn basic stunt things. That was a freaking experience, so watch out for that one. After that, I worked on a local film called Blood Tropicana, which was a neo-noir mystery type film where I play a guy who poses as an immigration officer as a way of finding out who murdered his wife. And that was a trip because we filmed that, I think, in level 2 or 3, maybe level 2. So there were rules and regulations that we had to observe just to make the film itself, which meant that when I was on set, one thing was that all of the crew had to wear masks, and that's not something that I was used to. For me though, whenever I'm on set, I try to get to know everybody because I'm interested in what happens behind the camera, not just in front, and so it does make it harder to form bonds and friendship with people when they've got, you know, the bottom half of their face missing. But yeah, I mean, we made do, and it worked out really well. I even have a couple bloopers that I'll put again in another video.
But what would you know about responsibilities? You're in. I've set my own hand on fire. Ah! Sorry. Cut.
Are you okay?
Look, can you just tell me what happened?
It's not much to say. I mean, she was here most weekends, more often towards the end. You could cheat.
You could tease?
You could
Let's see, I shot and directed a few music videos. And then from those music videos, I ended up making contacts in the dance industry here in New Zealand and ended up making 2 feature-length dance films. One of them even showing at the Melbourne Film Festival. And that was totally unexpected. I never thought that I'd ever make a dance film, let alone one that features at a Melbourne Film Festival. You know, my sights have always been on making films. I never thought about making a dance film, but now that I have, I realize how much I love filming dances and also how much I love dance. And so along with that, I also started dance this year, which was a bit of a leap for me because I don't have a dance background and there are no videos of that because I suck. And when I get good at it, then I'll film it and then I'll show you guys. I'm actually performing at the end of this year, fingers crossed, hopefully we don't end up in another lockdown. But at the end of this year, I'm actually performing the dance that I've been learning over the past 6 weeks, which is nerve-wracking because I only get 1 hour a week to rehearse with my choreographer. Contemporary dance is probably the closest to acting on camera compared to any other dance that I can think of. Although I feel like a dancer is probably going to watch this video and be really pissed that I said that. But I just mean for me, okay? As a non-dancer, contemporary seemed like the closest thing to drama, I guess. And speaking of drama, I also decided to punish myself by writing, directing, and starring in my own horror series.
Ah!
God, you're an asshole.
Come on now, it's not that bad. What you got there?
I don't know, I found it. You think it could stand for something?
I can't go with you, right?
What the hell is going on?
Just go!
And this was especially a unique experience because it was set entirely on Instagram. And it was the world's first ever Choose Your Own Adventure series on a social platform. Pretty amazing. We didn't get an award for it, but still, I think we deserve one. But yeah, basically it's a Choose Your Own Adventure series that takes inspiration from some of my favorite horror films like Wrong Turn and The Hills Have Eyes, or like games like The Last of Us, or even Dungeons and Dragons. And I wrote it with a friend of mine, Sarah Dawes, who also stars in it. She plays my girlfriend. And the idea is that the audience gets to watch an episode, and then at the end of every episode, they're given 2 choices to vote on in the comment section. And then the winning choice dictates what episode comes out next. So the audience gets to decide what the characters are doing. The difficult part of this is that while the audience in this series got 6 episodes, me and Sarah had to film and write about 24. So that was really difficult. We also had to edit everything as well. So it's a painstaking process, but it is so much fun. And at the moment, we're actually writing season 2, which is so much bigger. Like, I can't explain how much bigger we've gone. I don't think we expected to go so much bigger, but we have. And so it's twice as many episodes now. There's a whole range of new characters. There's new things that are happening. We've expanded the world and the universe that it's set in. It's going to be a really big task, but we spoke about it, and I think we both decided there wasn't a point in making a season 2 unless we were gonna go really fucking big. And so we have. And I think part of that mentality has been prominent amongst most New Zealanders this whole year, which is why it looks like I've done a lot. And I have, but I think the reason behind that is because I think New Zealanders for the past year have been living in this constant state of awareness, knowing that we might end up back here, which we have. I mean, the Delta variant that has only just made it to New Zealand this week, we know has been wreaking havoc in Australia since June and has already taken lives and has infected thousands of people. And that kind of devastation here would be, unthinkable. And with that, I suppose I should probably update you on where we are right now. So today is the 19th of August, 2021. So far in New Zealand, we've been in lockdown for 2 days. And as of today, we've identified 10 cases in the community that we've been able to trace anyway back to our first patient, who isn't patient 0 just yet. We still haven't found out where he got it from. And there are 70 locations of interest. Unfortunately, one of those locations is a church, which means there's possible hundreds of people that came into contact with said person. And the other location is the Auckland casino, which means a possible thousands. Like I said last time, the Delta variant is twice as infectious. Where last time, I believe, the original virus, if you found one case, you had to assume that you had 4.5 other cases undetected. And with this case, if you find one, you have to assume that you have 9 cases undetected. So now that we've found 10, the common projection is that there'll be around about 80 to 150 cases in the community that we need to find. So that's where we are. And that's where I am. Day 2. Staying positive and being prepared. Yeah. Ciao.